Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lifted. And today we welcome to the pod a very special guest, Lyndsay Williams. Lyndsay is a business lady extraordinaire who has multiple businesses set up as she runs successfully, and she's also a coach who helps busy women and working moms be the best they can be. So, I'd just like you to introduce yourself to the listeners. Lyndsay, tell us more about what you do and who you are.
Hi, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's really good to be here. And it's more exciting because being in the fitness industry myself and yourself, so it's really nice to speak to like-minded people as well. Yeah. So a bit about me, a little bit from the beginning, started off in the home and beauty industry and now have my own home beauty salon at home. 15, my son started school and I thought, you know what am I going to do? When I did a PT course, absolutely loved it, smashed it, did all my qualifications, and I thought, you know what, I love this. I love doing the hair, I love doing the PT. I did like the cardiac rehab, strength and conditioning, boxing coach. I was just doing every qualification, getting ready for working in the gym. And then I started working in gyms and I did my cardiac rehab. So I started off working in high risk gyms first with like strokes, amputees. So I was working with like a wide range of people, more like rehab fitness. And then I went to work in more like a commercial gym where I used my qualifications to have my niche and work with high populations of people that have had injuries. I used to teach boxing, and I worked with a lot of women's fitness, strength and conditioning. So I did my strength and conditioning coaching. So I loved it. So my niche was busy mums, like they gravitated towards me. And that's how my podcast was born. Lockdown happened. I had to shut my home beauty business, had to shut my PT business, did a bit on Zoom. And then I went back to the gym for 2 weeks and it wasn't for me. Like things had changed and I created my podcast. It was Busy Mum's Fitness Corner. And I thought I can take this on a podcast and work online as a coach.
Yeah, I see what you mean about after lockdown. Do you know, even for me, like being a PT on the gym floor was brilliant when I was doing it, and it was like full on. And then when that got taken away with lockdown, and we didn't have that for a while, did we? And it just felt like going back into it. Obviously, you'd taken so long a time off and away from being in that environment, and then when you get thrown back into it, it was just like, oh, I'm not sure. So like you, I was the same when I went in back to doing PT, and then I obviously didn't feel like I fit in quite as well as I did before lockdown. So I completely get where you're coming from with that one. But in terms of business, how did you come to the realization that that's what you wanted to do? Like as distinct from being employed, say, what made you feel like you would be much better placed being a business owner rather than going full-time employment?
So when I worked in the cardiac gym, I did because it was like an official, like it was a charity. I got paid for that, but I was still self-employed, like doing PT. Yeah. When I worked in the other gym, I was just freelance, so I just paid my floor rent, did some classes. So it was great because I built up my clientele. So there was like my clientele, and I used to bring from them, and so it just built through that. So it was quite an easy transition because I've always been self-employed. So I've always been quite good. I've done my own books. I'm good at social media. I'm good at like the things that are good for, it was quite easy for me, but I had to catch up. 22 years I've been in, the home beauty industry, and then I've gone into fitness. Like it was completely different. But it's similar industry is in terms of dog eat dog. I would say about the fitness industry. It's like hairdressing, a bit of competition. You're going to get that. I found that a little bit of a challenging experience working in the fitness industry. You meet a lot of walks of life, but because I was a bit older, I was a more of a mature student when I went to do my fitness. I was a bit more worldly. I was able to handle people better, and I was able to drive my business the way I wanted to by niching is the main thing. Don't try and like my clientele was predominantly women. I did teach boxing, was more like the boxing side, but don't try. I'd say like don't try and help everybody. Like you have a specific niche, and we should have a specific niche because we are the expert in that field then, and we can chuck our 100% into that area, can't we? What we're working.
Absolutely. So as a fitness professional, obviously you've been in there and you've dealt with women and you've coached women primarily. How would you say you managed to get women to a place where they're actually happy with their self-image and how they feel about themselves? Was it a wholesome approach you took, or was it just like the physical side, or was it like did you give the whole package, if you will, like the nutrition side and the training side? And
Yeah.
what sort of results did you get with it, with the women that you coached?
Yeah, so I did more of a holistic approach because that's what my job was, holistic, very true to myself, very wear my heart on my sleeve. I very much talk about my family, and I think with women having that, I mean, I did years ago, I did my counselling, I did, got my life coaching, so that really helped because I put all that together as a PT. And I think that when you're working with somebody, I don't particularly focus on the fitness in the first couple of weeks. It's mainly like looking at the lifestyle, looking at the partners, what type of living standards are they living in at home? Is that their only escape, the fitness? Can they afford it? So I look at everything like dig deep, like really. I think that's one good thing when you've got extra skills as a PT, because you can dig deep, you can find out what's going to work and how can you work with these people long term so they will stay with you long term. So I looked at obviously do lots of fitness testing with people the first couple of weeks, seeing what their mobility is like, what they can do. Like, they love to do the bit of boxing with me. They'd watch me in the gym and they'd come over saying, I'd love to box, I have no idea what to do. I went, listen, I'll teach you how to box. We don't have to do it for a sport. I will just teach you how to freestyle box, and we'll do conditioning with it. And they loved it because they were doing something fun, which was extra, plus they was doing rehab. So I did have a lot of people that had maybe like back injuries from doing weight training, they might have medical conditions, heart conditions, but they could still train safely with me because I was able to take them within the right heart rate zones without putting them under duress. So I think they felt safe with me because obviously I had the qualifications and the knowledge. So I like to help people that really, really needed my help, and it was nice to see the results, to see the journey. Just getting people to walk again, to be able to run and do things is a massive thing for you. It's quite emotional to see people like doing something.
Yeah, I know. Like even for me, seeing people going through transformation journeys, it's quite exciting to see like you taking a client from being in a place where they're not happy in themselves, they don't actually know what to do with what they have, and you're showing them, you're teaching them, and you're giving them that almost new lease of life, if you will. And it's such a joy to see and experience somebody come from a place of, say, being lost and not knowing how to get themselves to a better place, and then you see them flourish. It's so rewarding, and it's so satisfying as a job. I find like it is something that I would love many women to experience, really, because this not only takes care of their health, it empowers them to be the best they can be. Because I'm a strong believer of, if you feel good inside and outside, you are actually living at your highest self and you're being the best that you can be. And it makes you be even more productive because it's got like a domino effect on the rest of your life. So you find women start doing things like going for promotions in work, and venturing out and going, taking risks on things that they would have never done before, because their confidence grows, and it comes with that holistic approach, that telling, having somebody believing in you and telling you that you can actually be this person. And a lot of it starts with just changing the way you look and the way you feel from the inside. And I feel like once they feel, once they know they look good, it kind of translates. Does that make sense? It translates to
Health is wealth. I always say this to people. You can have all the money in the world, but if your health's not good, how are you going to carry that on? Because we need to, like say, show up for ourselves. And our bodies can take a knock at any time. So if we're not working on, ourselves and our bodies, no matter what like our goals are, then you're going to struggle, aren't you? Like, you're going to reach, I would say you reach plateau for about 10 weeks in fitness, and then it's hard if you've no one motivating you to get back onto it, because we all train and then we pass then we set new goals, and that's what happens all through our lives with every aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And for the clients that you've had, because I find like the biggest challenge is to try and shift that mindset, because we're conditioned to think a certain way, and we have habits where we do things a certain way every day. So to break those habits is really hard. So you get somebody who's coming to you saying like, I want to achieve A, B, and C, and then you lay out the plan for how they're going to achieve that. And sometimes you meet the resistance because they're so used to doing things a certain way, and they think that the way works, but obviously it doesn't, because that's why they came to you in the first place. So for you, how have you managed, or how do you maneuver around clients who are very difficult to change their mindset and to change their way of doing things? Have you found
Yeah.
that challenge?
Well, I've always been quite lucky because people that have worked with me have said you're very knowledgeable. Like I've never met a PT. We will talk all like about everything. I've only met a couple of PTs that actually, when I've heard them, my friend Rob Taylor, who was on the podcast, I listen to him in the gym, and he will talk about muscle groups. He'll talk about how it's going to work, how it's going to benefit, and that's what extra you can give to, I think, a person when they're coming in. So I think because I've always like taught them the right way into doing things. I think they like the honesty, and some people do come with old belief systems because they've worked with old PTs, worked within gyms, and you go online and you think, oh well, how am I not achieving that? Because you've got a completely different body type. It's not going to work. You sometimes, like you said in one of your first podcast episode, you've got to change things up and then find that balance, what's going to work for your body and your nutrition as well, because not everybody is going to have, people just going to burn fats differently and store carbohydrates. So everyone thinks that we're all the same, we can all lose the same, but we can't. It's so different for everybody.
Yeah. We've all got different bodies, and how we respond is very different. But my view was like, you know, especially for the food side of things, it's really hard to like get through to somebody because you're not there to hold their hands and feed them, if you will, literally. And that's where the results come. It's very much based on the nutrition side of things. So then, you know, when we're going into, say, like planning for their meal plans and giving them a nutrition plan to follow, it usually starts at a place where they don't expect there to be so much food. And it kind of takes them by surprise because they're thinking like, well, my conditioning is I'm supposed to eat less to actually lose weight or lose fat. So I'm not actually sure what you're giving me is actually going to work. And that resistance can be there, and it takes a while for them to actually realize that you've been doing things a certain way, that's why it's not working, and we need to change that and change your mindset and change the way you see things and try something different for you to be actually able to see results. And then educating them about why they're eating so much food. It's not so much food, it's the right amount for where they're supposed to be. But when they're coming in, because maybe they're used to eating sporadically or not eating enough or not eating the right balance of nutrients, say, or macros, and then all of a sudden they're given all this food and they're supposed to eat it within the day, and then they're supposed
shocked at 5 meals. I've done that, and I've given 6 meals a day, and they go, Lyndsay, is this right? Why have you given me 6 meals? And I went, but not
too much.
If you look at it, like, and we've worked out your body ratio and how much you want a bit of hypertrophy training, you've got to eat more. And I'm like, no. And it's hard because you've got to explain it in a way that someone's going to understand. I went, just trust the process, just trust it. And we'll take pictures, and then in a few weeks we'll take more pictures, and then they start seeing themselves, oh yeah, and my arms are bulking out. And I'm like, hey, it's 80% food. You've got to eat. If you don't eat, there's no point you going to the gym 10 times a week. It's not going to do anything, is it?
No, it's not going to do anything at all. And that's the thing. Like, but once the switch is made, then I find like they get into it and the journey is a bit more smoother. But at the beginning, there is so much resistance, and it's just about turning that round so that you educate them and tell them exactly why they're supposed to be eating that much. Because sometimes they think that they're eating a lot, and they might be eating a lot, but a lot of the wrong things. Or they might not be eating the right amount. Their balance of the macros is completely off. So, you know, they might think like, yeah, I'm eating healthy, but they might not be eating enough protein, say. And especially for attaining like a good physique, you do need your protein. The protein is king in your macronutrient breakdown. You really need to prioritize protein. And I was the same actually when I started off with training. I used to think like I'm eating well, I'm eating, you know, I wasn't really eating out person. Most of my food I cooked at home, and I enjoy that side of things, but I just was not getting the right amount of protein through. So I ended up like eating loads of carbohydrates and not prioritizing protein. So yes, I looked okay, but overall, really, I needed to like pull back on the carbs and ramp up a bit on the protein. And it's small tweaks like that people don't actually realize that it's needed to like achieve a certain physique. But again, it's all in the knowledge and all educating.
Once you see the results, then they're like, yes, like just try it. Your energy levels will improve, skin improves. Like you talked about your hormones, periods. Like I've worked with people that have done sports, the periods have stopped, they've struggled with fertility, and I love that episode. I was like, yeah, I know someone who's done that, and they managed to have a baby in the end, but it took a long time because they've done a lot of internal damage by doing things that they shouldn't do. But it took a while to get the good fats back in and then get the body working. So especially when we get to an age, we're not as, our fertility can change as we get 40, so we have to like take that into consideration.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioning fats as well. This is the other thing that people don't really have, or women in general, don't have the knowledge for it. And somebody mentions you eating fats and they're like, oh, I'm not sure about that. They make you fat, like literally. And it's like, no, actually you do need your fats in the right amounts in there, because that they are actually responsible for your hormone balance and hormone levels like being in the right place. So without the fats, that's where you get like people not getting their periods or losing their periods, because the balance for the fat to the other nutrients ratio is off. So you do need your fats in there as well as carbs. This is the thing, people are fearful of carbs and fats.
There's carbs in everything. They go, yeah, but like broccoli, they'll think that's not carb. When there's low carbs.
There's carbs in there, yeah.
Well, that's why it's better to eat more things like that, because you're still getting your carbs, but you're not carb loading. Yeah. And I'm like, right, I get you now. And I'm like, so it's potato and the broccoli, they've both got carbs in, I like to say. But obviously one's going to have more starch in, it's going to mess with your insulin. Then you're going to have your broccoli, which you're going to burn off a little bit. But obviously it is speed food, but you've got to have your fats with it and your proteins as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's that balance completely. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we're going to go into something exciting. We're going to go to I want to talk about something that you introduced me to, and this is why we're here today. And for the listeners who don't know, the reason why I have set off on this journey of podcasting is because of Lyndsay. I met her at a women's networking group, and as soon as she talked about it, I was like, right, I'm in there, I'm doing this, because it sounds really exciting and it sounds like something like right up my street. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and I'll just throw myself into it. So when she spoke to me, I was halfway through my competitive season, and I was looking, obviously at that point, I was not in the right headspace to like focus on anything else really, but I did say to her, I'll be back and I will definitely see this through, because it sounds like something really exciting. Anyway, we hit it off, and she is the master of podcasting. And I want her to talk to us about podcasting. How did this come about, and how has this helped you in terms of developing your other businesses? What impact has it had on your life in terms of income generation, Lyndsay?
Well, it's like with people, like I've published my book, Manifesting Through Motherhood. I kind of changed my podcast. It is my business, Busy Mum's Fitness Corner, but I changed it to Manifesting Through Motherhood, because that's what I've done. I have manifested everything. So going back to after lockdown and going online, and I've always manifested, I thought I'd love to be a fitness podcaster or working with women's health, but I wasn't sure what to do. And then I thought, you know what, I've just got to do it. So I launched my podcast, there's like 160 episodes on there, and just being able to talk about fitness, so I didn't have to lose my knowledge as a PT, not physically working like one-to-one, tiring myself out. I got in 2007, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and when you're a PT and you're boxing, fibromyalgia affects like your muscles and you get aches, and you can have a look at it online. So I started to feel it. So, but I managed it. as well as a PT, but I did a lot of boxing, so it was starting to affect me more. So I had to just pull back a little bit. And then I thought, you know what, I want to be a podcast. I want to do it. I had no clue, no training, nothing. I just did it. I just looked on YouTube. What do I do? Did it, and then I've just learnt since. And then I thought I'm just going to talk. What my niche is busy mums and fitness and health, and I'm qualified. I can talk absolutely all day about it, and that was it. So I just started talking, training myself. Then people started saying to me, I want to do a podcast, can you teach me? So I manifested with the universe, like, I want to do this. And I also said, show me something really like magnificent that's going to come out of this. And they said, and then I thought, you just got to be careful what you wish for, because then people started coming to me as like the expert, like, can you teach me? And I'm like, well, I'm not.
How brilliant. Love that.
I'm to teach you. I have literally, the only thing I haven't got qualification is podcasting, and I've come really good at it. So I just said, yeah, I'll teach you. So I started doing one-to-ones. So I do one-to-ones as well. And then I thought I'm going to start doing master classes and obviously reduce the price for people and have a group setting with worksheets. And loads of people, the first one, I was just sat there thinking, wow, all these people are sat there. And I'm taught them and they've all launched podcasts. And it's just great. But because I've got qualifications in other things, the good thing is I can like work with you PTs and holistic therapists, like coaching. I'm good with social media. So I'm quite good at also not just teaching you. I don't do the edit stuff. I just teach you to be independent because we're all busy. I know that you want to do it in your own time. So I'll teach you the fundamentals with extra support behind the scenes. But I'll also, if you've got a business, if I am qualified or can help in any way to tailor that, to push that, then I love that side as well. So I think it's just kind of fell nicely. And then I thought, wow, I've ended up with a business. Like, I've got my home beauty business, but I've got a studio at home. So it's multifunctional, which is good. And then I'm loving the doing the podcasting. So it's not like less, I'm not using my energy and my hands get sore a lot. So it's quite nice that I'm teaching online. And I've ended up becoming an author. So I've published a book since becoming, I don't know if I'll just quickly show you, not if you'll show it, manifesting through motherhood, talks about health, wellness, so how I manifested my business and how old belief systems could have stopped me and the experiences I had in a gym, because I went through some ups and downs in a gym, and I can't really say on it yet, but it made me become an author, them experiences, and become a podcaster. And I showed quite a few people, actually, you can up level, it doesn't matter where you come from. Didn't get A stars at school, and I've like making passive income now. So I'm, there's so much you can do. Like, I've talked to you about it through your podcast, and you've got a business. You can, I do one-to-one calls with people. So it's a really good funnel for your business as well. So like you would work in a gym, you work with clients one-to-one, you build that rapport, and people come up to you and say, can I work with you? It's same on a podcast. People want to work with you because they can hear you, they can understand you. It's really nice to get that connection, and they want more from you so you can sell your courses. So it's been honestly a crazy whirlwind. Like, sometimes I just think, wow, like I just and then I've got another podcast as well, the podcast launch corner. That's pretty new. That is just completely podcasting. So it's just to help people launch podcasts before they want to work with me. So that's something quite new. So I'm just sailing nicely, growing that. So it's just been like, my head's been like, woo, like this.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And like, just to see, like, to think like there's so much opportunities for people to be able to do stuff like this. But it does take knowing the right people to show you the way, because as I say, if I hadn't met you, obviously my coach does she's got her own podcast, but she's so she's got so much going on, there's just no time for her to show me the ropes on how to do it. So I was really glad when I met you. Like, it was almost as if it was meant to be, like,
definitely,
because I really did want to do something to speak to women, especially, and to really help address day-to-day issues that women face, and busy moms, because we know how hard it is to like juggle everything, and to always be, you're the one wearing all the hats most of the time. So sometimes it's nice to feel like there is somebody out there who's identifying with you and knows exactly what you're going through. And when you feel stuck, or you feel like you're in a place where you don't actually know what to do, you can always reach out and you can get that help. So yeah, I absolutely love all that. It's brilliant, and you're doing amazing.
Just the beginning, isn't it? Like, this is the
Yeah,
first year. And I've got to be careful not to get carried away because I have a child with additional needs. I know you're probably going to ask me
yeah,
about that. And, you know, he's at specialist high school now. So I've had to manage that, getting a diagnosis. And, you know, he's all right, but he has got some, like, you know, difficulties, ADHD type, you know, things that I do. So growing a business, I've had to be quite mindful of how I'm going to do it. I mean, I am married as well, but obviously my husband works shifts. So we've got to do it together. We've got to...
yeah,
People say, well, I can't do it because I've got I've got this going on at home. Like, I've done all this, plus caring for my nana as well. So I'm always in a caring role, but I make sure that I time block. I make sure that I set really good boundaries within my business. I habit stack continuously all week, that I've got really good things in place to be able to meet my goals, to be able to run my salon, to work with clients. And I still have a lot of self-care time. People go, how do you do all
how
this?
to do
You don't
that?
look
Yeah,
tired. And I go,
yeah,
because that's why I'm a life coach, because I
yeah.
can teach you, I can master you to be just really nice calmness. That's what we all need.
Fantastic. So you've just mentioned their time blocking. I wanted to like go into it a bit more. What is time blocking, and how do you manage to time block for us who are new to all this and are juggling or are just starting into this juggling life and throwing everything in the air and hoping everything works?
So time blocking is like, I do mainly mine Monday to Friday because that's the bulk of my work. So it's looking at if you've got a partner that works shifts, if you're a single parent, then it's down to you. If you're not a parent listening to this, you still need to time block, because if you've got goals, what we tend to do is we just fill our time with everything and we say yes to everybody, and you might be in
Yeah,
a full-time permanent job. You're not getting time for yourself, so you need to be able to cut back and start saying no. Where can I add things in? So maybe I like to get up early in the morning, so I've got up this morning early, done a bit of a workout, done my journaling, so I get a lot done. So I time block maybe 3 times a week to do specific things. When I was writing my book, I needed to do like 4 times a week to block time in. So that time is allocated just to me. Nothing can get in, things do happen, but it kind of makes you more responsible, more accountable. So it's accountability for me. It's like putting times in the week. So it might just be Wednesday afternoon, 12 to 1, you're going to go meet your friend for a coffee. And
yeah,
if you can stick to that every week, that is going to work really good for your mind. Your mindfulness is going to stay intact, because even though I've got a busy week, I'm going to go and see my friend on Wednesday. We're going to have a girly chat.
yeah,
And then I can carry on my week. It could be I time block the gym in, maybe like morning. In January, I'm definitely going to be more stricter. I'm going to do some like 9 o'clock ones, some classes, and I'm going to do 3 times. And then I'm not going to book my clients till after. So I think once we stick to that, we become better with our boundaries, saying no, and being able to work around that, because when you're self-employed, you've got that more flexibility and more freedom, and you get more done when you're time blocking. So
yeah,
it could be a lunch. I do buffer times, have lunch as well, mindfulness, go for a walk. Gym is the main thing in it, or doing a home workout is, if I'm not going to the gym that week, I've got a gym room here, and I'll just go in that. And it's time, but you need to block it in, because time
yeah.
can take overtime, and kids take your time as well, and your partners and
Absolutely.
friends take your time.
And
So
everything else, yeah,
you've got to be strict with yourself
yeah,
to feel happy as well in yourself
yeah.
every day.
Yeah, yeah. So it's about really just being very disciplined, isn't it? And
Yeah.
creating a routine on
Habit stacking is the big thing. Creating 3 or 4 positive habits in the morning and that could be meditation. Mine's meditation, doing a podcast, listen to a podcast every morning, do a workout, and it could be just 15 minutes. And putting a bit of makeup on, getting up, make yourself good, plucking your eyebrows. To me, they're good habits. We are looking after ourselves, our wellness. We're having a nice glass of water and a nutritional breakfast as well. So make
yeah,
sure that's all compounded, like a compound exercise, but we're
yes,
doing a compound habit. Like, we're doing
yeah,
things at once, so we're not missing them. So we can be quite accountable to each one
yeah,
then.
yeah. And I feel it's quite nice when you know in your head when you go to bed and you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing the next day.
Yeah,
It's just nice to it helps you also have a good night's sleep, because oh, my day is planned for tomorrow, and there's things that you've planned for that you actually can really look forward to,
yeah.
say, like, as you point out, those self-care stuff that you can actually put in place, like oh, tomorrow I'm meeting my girlfriend for a coffee,
Yeah.
say.
Networking, like we met, like I block all the network sessions in, like, because I
Yeah,
know that no, I'm not booking clients in that day. That is my day, and I don't want to rush
yeah,
back. because I want to chat after, I might have a coffee. That's my
Yeah,
time. That's my night out for me because I don't go out, I don't drink. So that
yeah,
is my night out.
yeah, yeah.
Going meeting girls.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It really does.
Yeah.
It does help. So I completely get that. I want to go into something that's also you're really big on, and this is manifestation. So
Yeah.
manifestation, I know you're really good. You're really big on. I just want you to talk to us about what it is and how you've managed to incorporate it into your life and even turned it into something you show others by being a self-development coach. How does it tie in to all your other businesses, and how does that come, how does the whole thing work together with everything else?
So when you when you're doing manifesting, people always go, "Ooh, that's a bit woo woo." My husband used to be like, "Ooh," and I'm
What's
like,
that?
"Listen, right." I said, "You done that BMW, that Saturn hour drive? Did
That was
you?"
me.
You know, I said, you manifest, you kept saying, I want this colour, I want this make. I went, that is manifesting. And how are you going to get to this? Well, you've got to save up for it. You've got to go to work. It's the same thing. I say to people, you're manifesting because we want good things in life. We want a new job. We always need to up level in our businesses. But how are we going to do it? We're going to do this through goal setting, through being accountable. So goal setting and putting practices in place, which is like visualization. So I visualize having a podcast. I visualize my book, my colour of my book, how it's going to look. I visualize it being on Amazon. So all these things, I was kind of put yourself into a place. So say if you're manifesting a card, look at the card, and you end up seeing loads of colours of them card that week. Start
Yeah,
visualizing it, how it feels, how does it smell, how does people around you think, yeah, she's got a new car. You've got to put the senses into manifesting. Like, yeah, you manifested, you want a podcast, and you manifested it, but you met me at a right time where I helped you bring that to life. You've put it out there. You've already asked the universe, I wanted a podcast, and then you probably just left
yeah,
it at that. And then the universe has listened, and they've sent someone like me to say, "Oh, I do podcasting. I can help you." And then that's happened. So then it's like, what do I manifest next? And it could be anything. Like, just start off with small things like coffee. I do. Oh, I'm going to manifest a free coffee this week or a bunch of flowers. And
brilliant.
flowers come. Flowers
Yeah,
come to my house. I have
that.
coffee. Acosta send me things, got a free coffee this week. I'm like, what's going on? So it's little things. But it's also being realistic on manifesting it in a way that you've got to put the effort in. Like,
Yeah,
how we're going to do goals, we're going to do business growth, so what we're going to do. So it's just like setting goals. I do it around goal setting, strategic goal setting. As a self-development coach, that's what I like to do, is how we're going to get there. So we've got 6 months. Let's how we're going to get that in place, what we're going to put in place. So also being realistic with it, but also celebrating your wins, and gratitude is the last thing. Make sure
yeah,
you're doing your 10, at least 10 gratitudes. It could be your food, it could be your home, it could be heating. You've got to say thanks to the universe for everything. And then, because then we're ready for the next thing. And don't be scared to ask the universe that you're ready, and things will come at the right time in alignment to what you're ready for. So don't think because it's not happened last week that it's not coming. It will
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
I'm a true believer it will happen at the right time, because you
yeah.
don't want to be overwhelmed as well. So always, trust in the universe that it's going to bring to you what you want it to be.
Yeah, yeah, just to I'd like to kind of for people who are new to this and don't actually know, because I have read quite a bit on manifestation, and I have actually I started off my journey to manifestation like just a few months ago. So I'm quite, I'm not I haven't got all the knowledge of it, but in a nutshell, my way of describing it is not like, as you say, if you say people manifestation, they think like, oh, that's a bit witchy, or it's a
Yeah.
bit what you want about. But really, as I was saying to somebody the other day, like, it's not really what you think it is. It's putting your goals in place, and it forces you to actually put action into those goals. So it's not just like sitting there and saying, "Oh, I wish I had a car," and then just sitting there and say, like, I'm waiting for the universe to give me the car. It won't work like that. Really, manifestation is something that you put in writing or out there, and then because you've put it out there, you kind of have made yourself think like you want to get that thing, and you will have to put some actions into place. So it's not really just to stop the confusion where people thinking like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just like then just a spell or going to a witch and they give you a charm and then
Yeah.
things work. It's not that, is it?
Yeah, no, it's just, you just like having fire in your belly. Like when I did my book, I had a lot of fire in my belly, a lot of experiences, and I thought, I manifested it, and I was like, how am I going to get it to work? So what I started doing, I created my front cover, I put it on my vision board on my phone, and every day when I looked at my phone, that front cover, it wasn't even a book. And then I invested working with a bit of a book coach just to make sure they're going to edit my book, make sure it was good. But I wrote everything, sent it back, and I self-published it. So I knew I had to do self-publishing, and then I published 20 other journals, like weight loss planners, fitness planners. I've got like other books on Amazon as well. So I got practice, and then I was able to do this. It was a bit easier then. So you've got to practice. You've just got to start putting the work in and the effort in. I think manifesting kind of motivates you to actually get up and start doing things and actions into place.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I meant. It actually does make you take action rather than just have a wish that you don't actually know where. And somehow it's like you say, it's the universe's way of saying like, okay, you've expressed this, I will give you the ideas that you need, and I'll bring the people to you that you need to make it happen. But essentially, you've got to be the one who gets off your ass and do the work.
It works. I've done it. I can prove it. Like I've done so many different things, and I've just started, you know, the passive income. I've started blogging. I've just done an article for Chat magazine as well, but that'll be out in January. It's like to kind of fitness stuff. I can't really say yet, but it'll be out soon. But I pushed myself out of the boundaries. That was one of my things, to start blogging and doing articles for different people, because it pushes my business. It pushes my comfort zones, and we're not going to push our comfort zone. We're not going to grow in our business, are we? So
exactly,
it is vulnerable putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
But think of it as a nice, gentle, like, you know, dipping your toes into the growth.
Yeah, you've just mentioned vision boards there. Can you just explain to us a bit more about vision boards and what are they and how
so I have one. So every year I do one, but I do change it up. So this year I manifested. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android, if you go into Canva, I mean, you can do a vision board of what you want. You can do a 5-year one, but I like to do a lot of things on my phone. So what I did, I went to Canva and I put was to like pay my car off, which I've just done. I've just paid everything off.
Wow, well done.
Because I got like a newish car, and then I've just been paid it off, and I just thought, you know what, I just want it. And you know, things like that. New kitchen, put it on, nice grey kitchen.
Oh, I love that.
Got a kitchen's done. That. So I've been putting little things on there, like holidays, and they're just basic things for me. I don't want a lot. I just like family holidays, love and health and happiness, and little things that are just extra on there. And then because I've done all this now, I've took everything off, and my big one is like paying my mortgage off and things like that. So it could be a house, it could be amount of what you owe, it could be like a new car, it might be a baby, it might be a marriage, it might be a divorce. Put it on there, because at the end of the day, you're looking at it every day, and it's a really nice reminder of actually, this is what I'm getting up for every morning. Yes, I'm getting up to work to pay my mortgage. I'm going for that. Might be a promotion. Mine's podcasting and passive income, because I need to work on growth now for next year, because instead of plateauing. So everything's on my vision board. So go and look. I think we've all got mobile phones. Anyone listening, go and do it, and then you can share it with Carol then. You can
put it on your socials, tag me in it, and let me see how you're doing and what your vision board is.
It's exciting, because you can put your family and pictures on there, like it's your vision board, and it's really good size with Canva. It's perfect size, and then you just screenshot it and upload it as a home screen, and it's nice because my son said the other day, he said, what are you manifesting now? I said, what do you mean? He went, you've got loads of pictures on your screen. So he's like nearly 13 and he's on it already.
Yeah,
he's
like, does he understand the whole concept?
He is now, because he says to me, I'm going to manifest going back to Disneyland next year. Oh, so he's on it. Like, he's all more, like, you know what kids are like, they just want all the nice stuff. But he's also said, I also manifesting having a beautiful mummy. I was like, so cute kids, aren't they? And I'm like, oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's brilliant.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's something that really fascinates me, and it's something that obviously I've seen work. Like you, I have manifested quite a few things, and quite a few things have actually come to pass. Having a podcast, for example. But yeah, there is so much that you can achieve if you get your head in the right place, and you just change your mindset and how you look and view life and how you see things. Because a lot of the time we tell ourselves that we can't do things, And this is just something that we tell ourselves. It's a voice in your head. You shouldn't listen to it. Because a lot of us can achieve, we're all capable of achieving great things. We just have to believe in ourselves and have to tell ourselves that everything that you wish for is out there. It's already there. You just need to put yourself in the same vibration, if you will, to attract what's meant for you to come to you. So people do need to understand that it's not impossible to achieve their dreams or something that looks like too far out. And as you say, just because it hasn't happened last week doesn't mean to say it won't happen. Some things take time, as we all know, but we still have to keep believing, and we still have to keep working towards our goals. We have to maintain that positive mindset at all times to ensure that we're on the right vibration,
frequency. Yeah, and not everyone's going to be on board, so you are going to lose friendships through this. I have, and I've the people that are mood hoovers, I call them energy vampires. People don't want you to succeed. People will not like you succeeding, and so don't let that hinder you what you do. Just you may need to just energetically do a bit of cleansing, like get rid of old things, old people that aren't what you notice when you start to up level. Old people in your life don't. And you see that straight away, and then you think, actually, I don't want to stay with. So if they're, vibrating at like a 30 and you're at an 80, you're going to keep coming down. It's just going to keep pulling you. You're going to have to step away from them friendships eventually, and like network. Like I've met you, we become friends because you vibrate at the same frequency. We both want to do well. You're in the same. So it's you need to move on, and don't be worried that you're going to lose friends, and things happen for a reason. I feel like we can't grow if we're going to stay in the same place at all time. We need to grow. Absolutely. We need to move on. We need to change, and you can still have up friends, but sometimes it's nice just to step out a little bit. If you've got like goals and dreams, you're just going to have to move up a little bit and start. You'll notice you'll feel happier every day, and you're like, yes. Yeah, and you got your tribe.
As you say, usually when you're vibrating at like 80%, say, and you've got people who are like at 20, they won't come up to you. You're gonna have to be the one who goes down to them, so that you can actually be in the same flock.
Which when you get a PT client that you're working with online, then so they're probably gonna be at 20% how they're feeling, and you're probably like 90%. I'm buzzing. They're gonna have to catch up to you, but when you work with someone in a couple of months, they are vibrating at your level. They are buzzing. You are seeing their posts on social media. They're putting the picture of the food prep, the picture of nights out. You will see that transformation just by a client's social media. And that's what I did. Just people like absolutely loving life because they're like, you are so positive all the time. I just need you like in my life all the time. I need you in my life.
Tell me what to do because I want to be like this. It's brilliant. It really, really is. And it's a big topic, manifestation, and it's something that we could talk about all day. Unfortunately, we haven't got all day. But I'd like to take us a bit back into family life and talk about your son, if you don't mind sharing. So you've told us that he's got additional needs, and obviously you have to work your jobs around time blocking to make sure that he's happy and your partner is happy as well, because as we all know, for women, we are on the driving seats most of the times. You have to be the one who's a bit more organizational so that things run smoothly. How do you manage to balance family work, social life with your son, and what sort of an impact does that have on how you run your businesses?
I think it does give you a little bit more fire in your belly because you want to do well, you want to provide and show your child that that you can work hard and you can achieve. It's good that I do have family support. My mum and dad live on the same cul-de-sac, so which if you've got family support that helps. Outsourcing with friends, I've met an absolutely great community of mums. So my mum network was at mainstream, and I've met mums at like a specialist school. So he's got like a global delay. So he probably wouldn't have managed at mainstream. So he went to a specialist school, and it's a lot of sensory. So he's just a couple of years behind his age. So he just needs a little bit more nurturing. So I just need to nurture him a bit more. So it's just working just around it and how his emotions are. But because I'm very much holistic and quite in tune with myself, it does help him a little bit. So I just try and make sure I've got good boundaries, and I make sure that I'm working and I'm not overworking at night or doing things that are going to be like interrupting with. Oh, am I still there?
You are still here.
Yeah, sorry, my screen went off then.
No, you
Yeah, just making sure that you've got boundaries in place and you have got time. So you've got time with your children,
yeah.
and obviously I had to get like an education healthcare plan for him, which is I get all the support I can because it's such a wonderful skill that I don't have to worry about anything now. Once you've made that decision to take your school into specialist provision, then you are going to be you're happy. I can get on with when he went to that school. I just thought I can get on with my business now. The daytime is brilliant. I can get a lot of work done. But because he's nearly 13, he's quite independent as well. So I can get stuff done at night if I need to. Because he just wants to play in his bedroom and talk to his friends and go on YouTube.
Absolutely. Like I sometimes don't know I have kids because
like, where are you?
have I got kids? Or am I just not?
He texts me, can I have a brew? Can I have a brew? Can I have a croissant? I'm like, you're not in a hotel, you know.
Yeah, Mom, I'm thirsty. Mom, can you bring food in?
Yeah.
Right, okay. But yeah, I do get that. But yeah, that's lovely that you've actually managed to do all this and still, you've not lost your head.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, do you ever face overwhelm, due to the sheer number of things that you have to do? I know you're very organized, but do you ever get to a point where, at the end of the day, we're all human, aren't we? Do you ever get to a point where you feel like, oh, it's just too much? And how do you deal with it when it gets to that point?
I think mine mainly focuses around family. I get overwhelmed with my nan. Like, so my business, when I start seeing I'm feeling a little bit, I'm doing too much and I'm saying yes to people, I notice it straight away and I pull it back and I just try to I grab it and pull it. So I'm quite good at that. But when it's family, so like last week, my mum's been on a cruise, my mum and dad for 2 weeks, and I got a bit upset last week because my mum brought me up until she met my stepdad, and we're very close. And my mum's only in her 50s, and so she had me quite young, and we're like best friends. So she wasn't there, and then my nan was rushed into hospital. So last week was like I had this week booked, and you don't make way for things that are going to happen. Like my feelings, my emotions were everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to hospital, so I'm trying to work and deal with the hospital side. And so I think there are the times that I feel overwhelmed with something happens around my son. And my nan seems to be a big thing because I really love my nan and I looked after my nan for many years before she went into the nursing home. But I still look after her now, but I can kind of like the pressure's gone a little bit now because she's being cared for in a different capacity. Yeah. So I feel like your family can be probably the most triggers relationships and things like that. So I think having good communication is good, especially at home, and good communications within your family and your support network with your friends. I'd help, like people know straight away. Like I had a client, like met her through like podcasts and become really friends, and she's done my master classes, the one before you was on, and then she just sent me a big bouquet of flowers, and I'm like, what's that for? And she's like, I just knew you was feeling it, Lyndsay. I knew it because we just vibrate. And she said, I just knew your nan and your mum, and I knew you was upset. And you wasn't putting it all over social media. It's not everyone. I do put a little bit like, my mum, I'm missing my mum.
Yeah,
people know my mum.
Yeah.
And she just knew. And so, I thought, you know what? It's so nice that people felt that. But I don't carry it on.
No.
Because then you start to manifest that negative. So I just cracked on with it. I thought, you know what? She's coming home on Saturday. My nan's out of hospital now. Yes, so much. My gratitude diary last night was like really good and positive. I'm like, thanks to the universe, my nan's better now. Mum's coming home, and I'm like, yay.
Yay, that's good. Brilliant. Love that. Yeah, so that's nice to hear, and that like to know, we're all human at the end of the day, and we're not saying that we're all going to be jumpy, happy every day. There's days where we face low days, and it's just how to manage that and to cope with it all. So yeah, that's really interesting to hear. As you say, communication is important, but also just having that support there to know that you've got people who can help you when you're like vibrating on a low level. It's quite important to have that support there.
And just be flexible in your approach to like your diary and things that can happen. So just have little backup plans if things happen. If your child's off ill that day and you've got, imagine like working in a gym, you've got loads of clients PTing and your child's off sick. What you meant to do? Like, you're like, luckily your clients are quite nice, and they, my mum would help me, but you might not always have that. So when you've got a job and you've also got an ill child, you're like, oh no, what we're gonna do? Because not many employers are really happy about that. But when you work for yourself, even though it's not nice to let people down, my clients are very accommodating because I am with them and their children come to me. And when I used to go on PT after lockdown, I did home PTs because we wasn't allowed to go like back in the gym, and we did in the garden. The kids were there, it was great. So they were PTing at home, boxing in the garden, and the kids were running around. So it was great. It was just like,
Yeah.
it is what it is, isn't it? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
we're all parents. We've just got to respect each other, that we've things crop up, and that's life.
Yeah. And most people are understanding, to be quite fair.
Yeah.
If something comes up, like some things you can't help, can you? And it is what it is. So you can't help having to cope with things that come up without being planned. So yeah, it's good to know that people can be understanding as well and give you that bit of leeway. So we are almost finished now, Lyndsay. You'll be glad to know. But
ready?
just before we finish, I'd like to just go back a bit on the fitness side of things. And with being an online coach, obviously it's very different to having that one-to-one personal trainer, say, for example. For an online coach, what things would you say you would look for if, say, you are out there wanting, say, the help of one of us as fitness professionals or, self-development coaches? What things are you going to be looking for in trying to sign up for an online coach? And what things would you say are like red flags to avoid when you're trying to find the right coach for you to help you?
I think it's just sincerity, like I always look at the social media as a big flag. Are they negative? They've got lots of isms going on the page, so that would be totally no, because you just don't know how people are going to be with you. I don't like pushy people. I feel like if you've got to practice what you preach as well, so you've got to be very careful what you put your social media. If you're going to work with somebody, you've got to be kind, and like you don't want to be cussing all the time online, because you don't want that. You don't want that badness energy either on yourself. No. Obviously, you look for like testimonials, other people. Me, I always go on people that I've worked with people, so I've always been like that, or people that I know, like through networking. If I work with people, I would tend to go for the people that are the women that I know, because I know that many people who do anything that I needed, I would know who to go to, because we all have such amazing jobs. Also, like niche as well, make sure that they know my, what I need. Like, so say if it could be like back rehab, you want to go and look for someone that's going to be able to tailor you a prescription type thing, because you don't want to just, because you've got to be very careful when you're working with somebody. And I think it's important that if there's people that used to come to me, like I used to get people saying to me that want to PT with me and say, I want to do a running plan, I want to do a 5K. I ain't the person to help you do a running plan at all. And I work with people in a gym or work with people online. I'd say, well, I can do strength and conditioning, but I can then go to such a person and you can work with them as well. So we could do a dual package. So I think it's nice that we work together, because I'm not a runner, but I'm more like boxing, strength and conditioning.
Yes, conditioning,
long, but running, I've never done running plans, and like I'm not a runner. And so I think it's important that you work with the right person that works for you, because I think that you'll get a better results as well. So it's just making sure that someone that you can work with, get on with, they've got values. Like obviously I work with mums, a lot of mums like me, because I understand where they're coming from.
You've walked the walk and you know what you're talking about.
So it's just like for like, isn't it? Like I always say, I always have women that work for me are just like me, very much like for like, because we just bounced off each other, and we were just like chatting,
it works better, and it works well if you're on the same level. Definitely,
you get on with them better, don't you? Like, doesn't mean you have to be. I've actually had people wanting to work with me in the past, and I've said no, because I don't feel like I can give them what I want, or I might think, I just don't gel with you. There's no point trying to work with someone who you think are going to be resistant towards you, and not going to respect you. You're better off saying, well, I can refer you to somebody else. And that's fine to do that as well. That just comes with experience, I think, working in the fitness industry and being able to cope with different people's personalities.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree with that. So, Lyndsay, finally, we want to ask you about your book. You've shown us your book. We want to know where to get it, and if you could please share with us your social handles, so that anybody who wants to work with you or is looking to get your services, how they can get in touch with you.
So I'm on Instagram at Busy Mums Fitness Corner and also Busy Mums Fitness Corner on TikTok. So I'd like to do videos. You'll see me popping around what your social media. Lyndsay Williams on social media and Lyndsay Williams on Amazon. So all my books on there. You'll see lots of other journals like planners, journals, mood diaries. I've got like low content books, but my big book is Manifesting Through Motherhood. It's like my journey of fitness, self-development. So if you like manifesting, self-development, bit of fitness, there's a few like activities to do in there. It's just a nice easy way to start looking at manifesting. So it's my take on manifesting, what works for me and what has worked for me. So yeah, on Amazon. So it's easy to find. I can send you a link so you can pop in. It's in my link tree anyway on my socials. So
yeah, I will pop the links on the notes after after I upload this episode, so that people can know where to find you. But yeah, it's been really great. Before you go, I usually like to finish by on a light-hearted note, because some of these things that we talk about can be quite heavy on the head, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a random fact about yourself. So,
Yeah.
what's the most prized possession you have and why?
I would say my son, because it does change you. It changed me as a person. It made me emotional, more emotional than I already was.
Oh,
And it does make you take note, I think, sometimes. Like you can get carried away with work and business, but then when you think actually it's taken into my family time, you've got to start pulling back sometimes. So it kind of slows you down in a nice positive way, I think, having when you've got children, because we just we're free birds when we've not got them. I was doing all sorts before my son. I was doing karate 5 nights a week.
oh my God.
I can't do that now. Like I can't do the things that I did because it's unfair, isn't it? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
but do you know what? I think what happens in life, and things are thrown at us for the right reasons. So yeah, I've got to say the one that changed my body, that £10 baby.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That
was a big one.
I had the nicest physique before I had him, and then I had him cut right off, and I'm like,
Oh,
but it is what it is.
yeah. He's here now, and he's
Yeah,
somebody that's
huge
made
now. It's getting
who
huge.
you are. So yeah, that's lovely. That's
I just,
really
I just
lovely.
want to say this has been amazing. Like, I've taught people to do podcasts, and your like interviewing skills. I feel like you've just been doing this for years. Like, I wish I was at your level, like straight away. So just to see you flourish now, it's just made me like, this is going to be an amazing podcast, because you just the skills that you've got, but you've got parent skills, you've got communication skills, and you know how to deliver them. And I think that's why you're going to be a successful podcaster.
Oh, thank you so much. I couldn't have, I don't think I would have turned it around as quick. I probably would have got there still, but not as quick if it wasn't for you, because just the way you explained everything and the way you
drip feed it you.
Yeah, it was just brilliant. I just thought, like, you know what, this is not as hard as I thought, because I thought like it would be so complicated, and I thought like, oh my goodness, how do we even begin? Because there's headsets, there's things, there's apps.
It's not when you get going, is it? It's learning. Is this now? Is interviewing, doing everything else. It's the journey. You're going to be somewhere different in 6 months' time, and in 6 months' time after that. So just let you do mistakes, let you do things, because it is what it is. People don't want perfection all the time, and that's a big thing.
Not at all. Yeah, you're just gonna have to go with the flow with it, and all the time, you have to think your authenticity is what sells you as a person.
Yeah.
If you're making yourself out to be something you're not, it will show and it will come through. But just be your real self, be true to yourself. Whatever you talk about has to be something that you really connect with, and then that way it translates to whoever you're speaking to. It translates to the general public as well, and hopefully it will give you the traction that you need to push forward your business, or just even if it's something that you just do as a hobby, just to something that you enjoy, because I quite enjoy it. Therapeutic. I find it
offloading. You can just offload, can't you?
And I mean, like, I've got like 7 episodes recorded already.
Wow, that's brilliant.
It's just one of those things. You come out, maybe you've had like a hard day, and you just sit there and
put it down, get it down.
I'll talk about that, and
that's exactly what I do on most episodes.
yeah, and once you start talking, it comes and it flows. So it's not as hard as I thought it would be. So very many thanks to you, Lyndsay. It's because of you that I've managed to do this so quick. So
thanks for putting your trust in me.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. But yeah, it's been lovely speaking. And
thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to the pod, and thank you for sharing your life with us and all your experiences and all your advice. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I will get you back on at some point and we'll explore other topics and discuss everything.
Oh yeah, lots of fitness ones, definitely.
Yeah. There's quite a lot for us to cover. It's just that there isn't enough time, is there?
There isn't, is it, Shame? Well,
always
thank you. Thanks for listening, guys, as well.
Yeah. All right. So I will be speaking to you in the socials, and I will post your social handles on the notes so that people can know how to get in touch with you. But
Brilliant.
take care for now, my lovely, and I will speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.